Hello there. Welcome to episode 4 of the Main Street Restore with CNR and RBA Restoration Brokers of America. I'm excited to have Gokul back. We are going to talk about
Let's go.
hub and spoke. I'm just going to say that hub and spoke is kind of what we're talking about. That's my teaser for this one. So you are in episode 4. So far, we have talked about financial performance of companies. In episode 1, we've talked about building a team in episode 2. And then we just talked about the most iconic move a restoration company can make in episode 3. So if you've missed any of those, please go back and check them out. You can find them on the CNR website, links to them on the RBA website. They're everywhere, so you can't miss them. But welcome into this episode. So Gokul, I'm going to toss it over to you to talk a little bit about yourself. I always just like you to give a little teaser of who you are again for people who might be joining us for the first time in episode 4, and also why we're doing this series, the idea behind the Main Street Restore, which is one of the series that I've been very excited about this year. It's awesome.
Yeah, so I founded Restoration Brokers of America, I don't know, almost 16, 17 years ago with just the sole purpose of helping our restoration owners. I mean, I'm a small business owner like everybody else who's listening to this, and I talk to every single day, and we're all in it together.
We are all in it together. You and I have been in it together for
Yeah.
a little bit here. You've mentored me through a lot of interesting moments and growth moments. And anyway, okay,
Yeah.
getting into the weeds there. We'll stay on that. All right. So let's talk about in this episode, what is the role of an owner in a business where either you want to sell or you don't want to sell? If you're the owner, what should that look like?
It's a struggle that I'm going through at the moment, as I'm building my business over the last, 6, 7, 8 years, we really started getting on a hyper growth mode. So this is like a really personal, like we could talk like days on this, right? And I think like whether you're trying to exit your business today or 30 years from now, you can work intensely for short periods of time, or you can work, less intense for longer periods of time. But you can't do both. You can't work intensely for hours and hours and hours. It's just not good for your health,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
I talk to owners all the time, right? And we all start our business, and hard work was really the differentiator when we all started our business. And I think a lot of times there's a time to let that go, and you start going from hard work to smart work, from hard work to strategic work, from $10 an hour activities to $1 million an hour activities, figuratively speaking, correct? So the value as you grow your business, I think you constantly have to keep thinking about what your job description is, if it changes, and what is your highest and best use for that business, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell you that if when you exit, every buyer is going to ask you this question: tell me your day-to-day activity. What do you really do in the business? Right? And people that are stuck in the mode of startup mode in their mind, even though they don't need to, right? They feel like, like every entrepreneur works 80 hours and it's normal. It is not normal. Let's just get that out here. Mental health, let's just talk about it. It's not normal. Okay? Running through walls is going to work once or twice. It's not going to work all the time. You get concussions. Okay? I mean, let's just
And
be
you're going to
real.
feel
Okay?
like
Let's
you got a
forget the feelings.
concussion.
Let's just talk reality, right?
Yes.
So I think me included, I mean, I've got 3 kids. I've got a family. I mean, most of the people listening to it have families, kids, grandkids, all these kinds of things. And we're trying to juggle all of it, right? And business has to
Yep.
fit into. And so
Yep.
every buyer is going to ask you that, right? Tell me your day to day, right? And if you're like, yeah, I work, I get up at 6 and I go home at 8. Yeah, nobody is going to pay you. This is not feelings. I'm just going to call everybody out, and I apologize if I offended a lot of people here. But listen, nobody is going to pay you millions of dollars to work 80 hours a week, period. Period. And whether you're selling your business today or not, you should not be working 80 hours a week for 30 years straight.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not why you started the business.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so I think there's this false thing like, hard work, and it's great. And yes, we all need to work hard and intense, but we also need to work strategic and look at highest and best use, right?
Yes.
So I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions. And I think when you look at, a lot of the thoughts in our head, like, no one can do it better than me. Nobody knows the business better than me. Nobody knows my customers better than me. If it's got to be done right, it's got to be me, right? These are all things that, and as your business grows and as you grow in your skills of owning a business and being an entrepreneur, you got to question those. I mean, I can tell you in my own journey that there are absolute things that my staff and can do better than me today, like infinitely better than me today. Okay.
That's as it should be. You're supposed to hire that way. You're supposed to
Right.
have a team that's better than you in some areas. So that's good.
Right. Right. And I can tell you that when we talk about a hub and spoke, you know, in the beginning, you got to be the center, the hub of your business. And I get it. Every decision is important and it's magnified. But at some point, once you start building a team, 3 people, 4 people, 5 people, you being the hub of everything in your business starts to hurt it.
Mhm.
Does it make sense? It starts to
Mhm.
hurt your business. So think of every employee like horsepower. You want to use their entire talent, and you want, if you got 5 employees, you want 5 horsepower in your company. You don't want one,
Yep.
and everyone just doing what you tell them to do, right? So the more you are at the center of your business, it feels good. It may be something that you're just used to, but it devalues your company big time. And no buyer is ever going to pay you millions and millions of dollars for an 80-hour work week. They're just not, right? So then you ask the question, okay, what's the answer? Somebody's reading this or listening to this, and they're like, how can we do it? Here's what I did, right? You slowly start recording your day-to-day activities for a whole week. I mean, I did it with a consultant, and that person, I know that person. We're both working with the same person.
Yes.
Here's what I did. I took my calendar out and I recorded everything I did for 2 weeks. Okay, every single thing. And then I started circling the things that I think my staff can do.
Uh-huh.
Right? The second thing you want to do is go talk to your staff, because a lot of times their resume is like 1/4 of their talent.
Yes.
Okay, a lot of people don't put what they did at church, what they did in their religious organizations, what they did for a side hustle if they had it, what they did for volunteer, what they did for their school. No one talks about that. It doesn't show up on an application, it doesn't show up on a resume. And you would find there's incredible talent if you just went around and
Mhm.
asked.
Yep. You can.
Right?
Yep.
Right. So
There's an
create a
easy exercise with
calendar.
this. Keep going with the calendar.
Yeah. So create a calendar, look at everything you can
Mhm.
delegate. Okay, after
Yep.
2. Go find all the hidden talent in your business. You'd be amazed what people are doing, right?
Hmm.
I mean, yeah, it could be a technician, but in the previous job, they could be doing something like a project management, something that you'd have never known. Or they would have managed some big project for their church or for their school. So they got the skills. They just didn't put it on the application, right? So there's
Hmm.
incredible talent when you do business. You got to go find it, right?
Yep.
And third is start identifying the people and start giving them stretch assignments. Okay. Go identify 5 people in your company and just say, you know what? I'm proud of you. You're talented. You're smart. I think you can take on this additional responsibility. Go do it. And give them
Yes.
some room to make mistakes,
Hmm.
right? Give them some room. Mistakes are going to happen. So it's not going to be perfect. They're not going to do it how you're going to do it, but they're going to do it in their own way. And you'll
Huh?
be surprised. I'll tell you, in my own experience, okay, listen, man, there's some days I was 5 minutes away from, like, five bourbons at 8 in the morning. Like, you get stressed out, right? You just freak out,
Yes.
but you just got to stay with it and stay with it. And
Yep.
I can tell you in my own experience, what I found is your staff will do it their own way. It's not the way you want to do it. And
Hmm.
more often than not, what I'm learning is they're going to do it better than you.
Hmm. I completely agree with that. I've been through a similar exercise. I use post-its of like the things I love to do, have to do, and don't want to do. And you just get those suckers up on your wall. And that is a great way also to delegate out, like, why am I doing this? I shouldn't be doing this. Who can do this? And
Correct.
it works. And you delegate it out. And also, yeah, that testing and giving people stretch assignments is a great way to figure out, like, I think this person might be really good here, but can also avoid the maybe getting the wrong people into the wrong seats too soon, just in case.
In case, correct. So I think that's it. So I think the owner role is really important when you're creating value in the company, right?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of our Main Street owners, they've started in their driveways, they've started in their
Mm-hmm.
garages. hard work has really been their trump card, right? It's been
Yeah.
their rocket fuel, right? But as you get to again, in the previous video, we talked about the stages of a company and what happens. But I think as your company starts to grow and you start to build a team, I think your job description changes, and you cannot just hard work only get you so far. It's got to be strategic work. It's got to be team building. It's got to be uncovering talents in your team. That's what increases the value of your company. And someone will pay you a lot of money if you do that. One. Two, even if you don't want to exit, if you do it, you're going to have a better life and a happier and a more well-balanced life. So this exercise is fantastic. Whether you want to exit in the next couple of years is great. You never want to exit. You want to keep your business for the next 50 years. That's also great. This exercise has helped me tremendously. So I know it'll help you too. Yeah.
So what do you tell owners? I feel like we all get caught in this. I should be working that many hours. I should be doing this task. I should. We should ourselves into these 80-hour work weeks. This is again something else that I have been working on. So how do you work yourself out of that? Because I know that you've probably done it to yourself, knowing you. You've been, I should, but you shouldn't. So how do you get rid of, stop
I think
shooting
I tell you
yourself?
I tell you what's helped me a lot is just giving yourself a little bit of grace that it's not going to be perfect and it's not going to be easy. Think about, your car that's going at 100 miles an hour and you're starting to apply the brakes and there's friction, and that's how you're going to stop the car. It's a lot of friction. It's a lot of hard work. I'm not going to say it's roses, but I can tell you it's very rewarding. I think sitting and having a little bit of time to sit and think about your business, for example, or have a cup of coffee on a Friday afternoon, cut out a little bit early and know that your team has got it. And also, uh, is very rewarding as an owner, and going and seeing your kid's baseball game or dance recital, is the other part of life, right?
Yep.
And so I think it's rewarding in so many ways. But let me give you a flip side. It's also really rewarding for your employees and your team. Okay. For them to have stretch assignments and do new things and discover new things, and having you believe in them more than they probably believe in themselves is highly rewarding. So it's a win-win, right?
Nice.
I think the
Yep.
old paradigm is not complete in my experience.
I agree. There's so much we could talk about
Not to
in
get
this
philosophical
episode.
about this,
So,
but this is a personal journey I've been on for 4 to 5 years now, as I've grown my company. I mean, our company's grown, I don't know, more than 10x in the last 5 years, and so I've thought about this a lot.
I totally get it. My company's not been around as long, but it's constantly a journey and an evolution, and figuring out your seat and your role and the right balance.
And
And
slowly remove yourself from the business and know that you're going to have bad days. Okay. There are days that you're not going to know everything in your business, and you're going to freak out. But just give yourself a little bit of time. And I think at the end of the day, my own experience, and I think people watching this, if they try it, for 3 months or 6 months, they're going to have a very similar experience as me. Is you're going to find, yeah, there are going to be some disappointments, but you're going to find successes that you couldn't imagine today. People stepping up and doing things much better than you even imagined or dreamt of. I think that's going to be really
yep,
true.
yep, I totally agree. Okay, anything else that you want to add into this episode before we wrap it?
No, I said owner's role is really important when you're increasing the value of the company. Okay. So when your company is fully managed, okay, buyers love it. Like the whole market loves it. Okay. And you would love it, whether you're selling today or 30 years from now. Try to get to where your company is fully managed. Okay. I think that could be a really goal. So whatever you're doing, keep firing yourself and see who you can give yourself that position until you no longer have a job.
Until you no longer have a job. I love it. All right,
Keep
Gokul.
firing
Well, thank you
yourself. That
so
is the
much for
best
the
way to
chat.
do it.
Fire yourself.
Keep
That's
firing yourself.
way more
Yes.
fun than firing other people. So I'm here for it. All right. Thanks, Gokul.
All right. Thanks for having me.